Yo, what's up guys? Nandra here. Welcome to another video. So I think I'm gonna be like recording three or four at least three or four videos today. This is gonna be part two of that I believe it was Guide to Shadow thing that I made a video for the other day. This is just gonna be like the part two of it, which is just like talking about techs that you can play as Shadow and versus Shadow. So I think then like make this into two parts. So the first part will be playing versus Shadow because obviously that's obviously like the one that you guys came to see, and then next week for like people who play Shadow, I'll be talking about like things you can use in order to get the edge in the mirror. Now we're gonna be going back to the cards. All right, so I think we're just gonna go in order of class. Okay. So I don't actually like own all of the force cards, but yeah. Actually, no. Let's start with neutrals. Sorry about that. Pretty sure this is neutral. This is, yeah, pretty sure that's neutral. Okay, cool, awesome, it is. All right. So this is the first one. Like I know this seems hella stupid and hella bad, but I have seen this be used in the past because like it's okay, but like it's one of those like it's super narrow in how you use it because like it only affects like 3 creature types in the game. It only affects like it only affects like skeletons, bats, and snowmen. But if you are facing that many like if you are facing that many shadow players or whatever, then this might be something that you like want to include. Now this works really well. Well, I say really well, but like it works okay versus like the Catacomb Shadow list because like if you let me clarify. Well, let me be incredibly specific when I say that like this is going to be a tech that they play in addition to other AoE that you might have in your deck. Now if you're studying something like say Sword, you're probably not going to want this card just because you don't really have AoE. But it's still okay. There's the obvious Grimnir as the reason why Grimnir is good, but again, this like specifically for like certain classes, like for example, you might want it. You're probably gonna want it if you're Haven. You're probably gonna want it if you're Dragon. If you're Force as well. Well, if you're Saha Force, just because like it just like late game it lets you deal with potential like Death's Breath and let you deal with like the majority of an Ektar board if the Ektar himself had to trade, which should be nice. But yeah, like it's not like a perfect silver bullet, but it's usually good enough. One thing that you're gonna want to keep in mind when you use this card is that as a 2/3 ward, it leaves you open to zombie party when you play it. So just like keep that in mind. The next one, Angel of the Word. This is pretty obvious, but it lets you ping off the skeletons, which is nice because you know as long as you're controlling their board, they can't do anything as ridiculous to you. At least not as fast, and that's important. Just because like you want to try to slow them down as much as possible. The next one, and this is gonna be like super controversial. I know a lot of you are gonna get like what the fuck, but the next one is Humpty Dumpty. So Humpty Dumpty is really good. It's particularly good versus like the non-catacomb ones. Now let me go ahead and mention that like when you're playing with Humpty Dumpty, obviously Humpty Dumpty does not scale that well into the late game unless you just somehow were never forced to use Evos. So it's gonna be a card that you want to see early. I usually put this card as maybe like a 1 or 2 of when whenever I play with the knowledge of okay, well I just want to be Shadow and I don't care about anything else because you have to keep in mind that the uses of Humpty Dumpty is actually super narrow because like it only hits like a few like mid range decks and it doesn't hit decks that don't care about creatures. So obviously this is gonna be a tech that's like really bad versus Dragon. It's gonna be really bad versus Haven. Well, specifically versus like Aegis Haven, Alana Haven, or Seraph Haven. which is obviously something that you want to like keep in mind when you're like making these decks, is that you want to try to like counterbalance exactly what you're like addressing, like but don't like commit too hard on any one game plan. Like don't just make it a, oh well, I want this to beat Shadow and absolutely nothing else, because then you're gonna feel bad when you like queue into like something like Dragon and like D-Ship and shit like that. You're just gonna be like, oh well, damn, Bible Thump. One that I actually kind of like a lot is actually Lion Champion. Now, let me clarify that Lion Champion is not actually that good versus like the Lurching Corpse list, as well as ones that also run Necro Assassin as well. However, when you can get Lion Champion onto a board like kind of like later in the game, it actually gets like really difficult for the Shadow player to clear it, because like Lion Champion, its buff is continuous. It's not just once per turn. It's literally each time this guy gets attacked. So essentially what that means is that like 1/1s can't trade into this guy because he's literally just gonna trade and do nothing. 2/2s become 1/2s when battling this guy, and so on. And that makes him sometimes deceptively hard to clear, and kind of really good for that. Then there's the obvious one of Saha plus Israfil. Now, this one is nice because like a lot of people they inadvertently play into Saha Lucy without realizing it. sorry, not Saha Lucy. They inadvertently play into Saha Israfil without realizing it. So you can win a lot of games when you just like blow out your opponent with like unexpected tech. And then of course there's still like Saha Lucy. The Saha Lucy is okay because like it gives you some form of healing, because a lot of classes don't actually have that, and you do kind of need to heal a little bit when you versus Shadow, just because that way you can kind of like you can like relieve some pressure off you. Because one thing that I see people do a lot is that they feel like pressured to remove like every single thing that like Shadow does, which obviously sometimes you actually don't need to do, but like they'll go ahead and like they'll go ahead and like eat a lot of damage, they'll go ahead and try to stabilize, and then maybe say a Phantom Heart will come down, and then they'll die, and then you'll be like, oh well, damn. And then of course there's like Bahamut. The Bahamut's kind of good, but like obviously like you have to factor in that you can't just like slap Bahamut into everything called a day. Same with the Saha Lucy / Saha Israfil package. Like you're gonna be wanting to play like specific decks if you're playing any of those cards, because they do cost a lot. I like Zeus as well, because Zeus can like go face, and then like sure you let the Shadow player choose how they want to deal with it, but for the most part, generally how they're gonna deal with it for the most part is usually be like Necro Assassin. But if they're Necro Assassin, they're using Necro Assassin in that turn, they can't play Ektar, so that's like pretty good. All right, so moving on to actual classes. I'm probably gonna skip Forest, because like Forest does have an exceptionally bad time versus Shadow in all forms. The one Force I like that does well is Saha Force, but the Saha Force does well off the back of they have a lot of wards, they have a lot of healing, in both class healing from that of Crystallia Aaron as well as Saha Israfil or Saha Lucy. And then if you wanted to, you randomly have Jungle Wardens that you can play if you wanted to, which is kind of nice. Now onto Sword. Sword is actually another matchup where like the Shadow player is just like so far, it's just like so favored to win. But there are things you can do. For one of Cyclone Blade. Like, I know this seems actually like, alright, so Cyclone Blade is a difficult card to play because obviously you have to have a creature, but if you have it as a one of, you'll sometimes find that you run into situations where your opponent like maybe like left a creature up for some reason or something like that, and you just get to blow them back with the Cyclone Blade. One play that I actually like a lot is is for 9 mana to go as terror bad as this sounds, for 9 mana to go take a Luminous Mage, evolve the Luminous Knight, trade the Luminous Knight into something, and then just go ahead and just like Cyclone Blade the Luminous Mage, or conversely just Cyclone Blade the Luminous Mage, or sorry, evolve the Luminous Mage, Cyclone Blade it, and then just trade into like whatever's left. It like it's not bad. It does cost you 2 cards, and it does cost you quite a bit of tempo, but again, it's not like the worst thing ever. The other tech I like is Hero of Antiquity. The reason why is because Hero of Antiquity, it forces the Shadow player to be honest, because like they have to trade into this guy, otherwise they risk like dying to Albert. That's actually really huge. Another tech I like is Monica. Monica's kind of nice because like she leaves you something on board to help like facilitate the Cyclone Blade that I mentioned earlier. Additionally, she's a nice swing card Evo, which Sword doesn't really have. So it's like it's really nice for that. And then the last two on my list are actually really controversial because they've almost like never seen play. However, I do think that they're very, very good for reasons I'll be talking about when I announce them. The first one is Alexander. The second one is Leonidas. Now, I did actually have a game versus Shadow where I got to like do the Leonidas thing, but so we're just gonna start with him first. Alright, so for Leonidas, he's a 9 mana 7/8, which as I mentioned in a previous video on like evaluating cards, it already makes him like kind of difficult and almost bordering into that land of unplayableness, because it's kind of hard to support that. However, if you're playing like Control Sword and you can like make it to that point, then it's actually like not that bad, because if you stay healthy enough, your opponent is going to have to have to cancel Leonidas. So like it's one of those, they're damned if they do and damned if they don't, because if you can get them down to like not 17, if you can get them down to 13, then Leonidas plus Albert is lethal. However, if they kill the Leonidas, then you get a Leonidas Resolve, which is a 9 PP commander. Whenever an ally follower comes into play, give it +3/+3 in Rush. Now, as I'm sure most of you Sword mains know, having Rush on cards is actually very, very good, because it lets you trade immediately, which is huge where you need to be winning on board. Additionally, with the +3/+3, it all but guarantees that you guys are going to be like the biggest guys in play for the remainder of the game. Additionally, for cards I mentioned, such as like the Monica, it makes the Monica ridiculous. And that's without an Evo. So Monica under Leonidas, it gives you a 7/7 and a 4/4 that both have Rush, and then the 7/7 has the ability to evolve and get and then like accrue you even more value, which is insane. So definitely a card that I think that should be seeing just a little bit more play in Control Sword list. But that's just, again, this like all these are all just like my personal opinion from things that I've observed from what I've played. The next one is Alexander. So I've been talking to my friends about like Alexander like ever since like Tempest came out. I like Alexander a lot, even though I don't own him. I legitimately don't own him, just because like I usually hoard my vials. And but the card is very, very good. Like, alright, so even though it's a feels bad play, something they can do is that Alexander can actually trade almost perfectly even with Ektar. And what I mean by that is that it can trade perfectly even into an Ektar for 9. And this is how. So you Alexander, you trade into the first token, you trade to all the tokens first. This way Alexander is a 6/1. Alexander can attack 14 times per turn, and then so he'll be a 6/1, and then he attacks into Ektar, and then there you go, full clear. And the only thing it costs you is like 1 card. So basically traded cards, but you also give your opponent initiative, which I know is kind of feels bad, but you at least take on Ektar. Like, taking out the Ektar is actually so huge, because like because that castle legitimately where most like shadow play where most like sword players struggle with it is that like just like removing the Ektar when it does come down to like establish board dominance. Additionally, with the Alexander, it's nice because I guarantee you your opponent is almost assuredly never expecting, because like the most dangerous AoEs are from the decks where you do not expect them to be. So yeah, like really nice card overall, and definitely on my list of just like a sleeper tech card that people just like aren't like aware of. I do know that like this time of recording that like the Japanese are like playing it, but no one from like the West is playing it, and that's like a huge letdown for me. All right, next list, Rune. Okay, so for Rune, thankfully for the most part, like they're already playing, they're already like naturally playing like most of the attacks. Let's see if I can find any that people aren't playing though. Right, so I just decided to like start. I just decided to like start from the front and just work my way back, or sorry, from the back and just work my way front. One is Calamitous Curse. Calamitous Curse is nice because Calamitous Curse can almost go 1-for-1. It can almost go 1-for-1 with Ektar, which is kind of nice. And then like for other Ektar-less boards, it just wipes it off the board. Now this is nice because unlike say the Alexander from the sword tech part of this, it's 6 mana, so you can usually still fit something into your curve for that when you do this. It's also not that hard to set up a sigil in order to get it, because like again, a lot of people, because they haven't seen Calamitous Curse in a while, I guarantee you that there are gonna be a lot of people who just kind of naturally play into it for no reason, and then they just like blow them out. What else is on this list? Oh, there's Professor Taboos. If you're somehow like for whatever reason not playing it, Professor is actually very good because like it can almost contest an Ektar in terms of raw value, and that's just like on like turn 6 when you just like where you're just like playing it on curve. But like when you're playing on like say 8 or 9 mana, it gets actually like scary because you can get almost as many tokens as the Ektar player. So it's like really good. Additionally, with the Illusionist, you can run almost as many effective copies, and that's just like it helps you out. It's just nice for that. Another one is Fire Chain. Now, Fire Chain is gonna be for the spell beast versions of Rune, but I like it a lot because like if you're playing it onto a non-catacombs board, then you can usually get a full clear if it has enough boost. Now obviously getting to get those boosts is gonna be difficult, and sometimes it's gonna be difficult if you're forced to play it into boards where they have like last word minions into it. However, one thing I noticed for shadow players is that they usually don't try to preserve their board that much. So sometimes, if you're playing into some of those guys who make the misplays of just like exposing their like last word minions and whatnot, they can like work out pretty well. Now obviously like this one's a bit of a shaky example, so don't like take this super to heart, but yeah. For those that play Dirt, because like unfortunately the majority of like good tech cards are for dealing with Shadow and Rune are actually primarily just from Dirt. There's also Gingerbread House. Gingerbread House is nice because like it heals you as well as clearing the board and giving as well as clearing a unit and also giving you a sigil, which is nice. You can play Price of Magic if you want. Just because it does banish things, so that's like nice versus say stuff like Chimera. However, I really like the healing more from Gingerbread House. So it's one of those like either or sort of things. I also like that Gingerbread House is flat damage rather than just like rather than just say like a black and scripture type effect where it's like, oh, where just like checks the health first in order to see if the card is removed or not, which is actually pretty important. Other than that, though, like there's just like it's just like small things, such as like playing like kaleidoscopic glows, which don't fully remove the problem. Like they just try to like it just slows down. It just like kind of slows it down for you, so you can burn them out. Additionally, Burn Rune does actually very well versus Shadow, as well as well, mainly just Burn Rune. I've also personally done pretty well versus Shadow with say Dirt Rune, but it's not really like Burn Dirt. Like it's more like Control Dirt. But yeah. All right, so on to the next class. We'll get a Haven next. Alright, so for Haven is primarily a control class, and actually they're already playing a lot of their good techs. I guess I should talk about techs that I don't actually like. That'd probably like good. Sorry, so I've already talked about this before in previous videos, but I don't actually like Forbidden Ritual as a tech card just because like it's too narrow, and that's a problem. Like if we did more than just say like Shadow and like maybe Blood, then like it'd be like worth it, but like it's not. It doesn't. So. What else? For a while, I actually really like Octo Bishop. The issue that I have with Octo Bishop is that like he requires you to have an Evo to do anything into their board, and because it's not a swing card Evo, like it's just like card that like works well versus like going tall strategies. It's you usually kind of like run into the issue where like he can only clear one thing per turn, but your opponent's just like putting out like 3 or 4 things per turn. I like Gravekeeper Sonya as well. Gravekeeper Sonya is nice because like if you have a clear board, which usually you're gonna have if you're Haven, then it's just like there's just a 3/5 that becomes a 5/7 that can't be removed with say like Lurching Corpse and stuff like that. So that's actually really huge, just because like having immovable things that more or less like forces the Shadow player to be honest and actually trade with you, and so just like either ignoring it or just banishing it is actually huge. Speaking of banish, there's Judge of Retribution. So Judge of Retribution is actually played a little bit. I like it a lot just because like it gives you extra banishes to deny shadows, because like at some point your Shadow opponent is going to play like Bone Chimera versus you, and Bone Chimera is actually in my opinion one of the scarier Shadow units. The reason why is because like he's 3 shadows per 1 card, as well as 3 creatures as well, and it just gives a lot of trading options. So usually if you can like deny that, you'll be on a good spot. There's also Curate. Most Haven lists run double Curate, which I think is correct, just because like you really need to be able to heal at some point. There's also Dark John, and I've even seen people play Jeanne d'Arc, the pure version of the card, just because extra AoEs are always nice, especially when they're AoEs on a body. There's also Marchers Tea Time, but again, I'm pretty sure this is a card that like pretty much like everyone's playing, just because it's really great card. So next we have Blood. To be honest, like I don't actually know what to talk about for Blood, just because like Blood is the other like really strong class right now, and it already naturally runs a lot of their techs, a lot of the techs that they would be running versus Shadow. I think the biggest one, I guess, would be like Revelation, but like, but playing the Revelation requires you to be playing Control Blood, which I don't actually have a list for yet. I'm still like working on it. And like when I get to it, I'll maybe like make one. But yeah, like it's mainly just like stuff like Night Horde or BKB, as well as Scarlet Sabre, things that which as you may have noticed now, you're kind of seeing a pattern here. Like basically for a lot of these tech cards, they're going to be cards that clear the board while also being a card in it, while also being a creature in and of itself. These are really huge for like when you play versus Shadow. When you play versus a lot of decks, but particularly versus Shadow, because Shadow is a game that's like more or less won by having the board and also having sufficient AoE to deal with all of their floods. And then for the last one, Dragon. Alright, so with Dragon, you can do a few different things. I've seen... Okay. There's the obvious play triple Blazing Breath. You can also play 2 Blazing Breath if you want, but I know a lot of people go for 3 just because you want to see it, just because like you like seeing at least one in the early game, but yeah. So generally just like 2 to 3. The Blazing Breath is nice because Blazing Breath it hits so many creatures across so many different decks. You're not gonna feel that bad when you draw it, provided they actually draw it early. I've seen some people play Dragon's Nest. The Dragon's Nest is kind of cool because like it's effective healing, and they like stipulations that you make it to 7 mana, which usually if you ramp at least once or twice, which is like the average amount, then that'll usually be enough for you. The next one is Dragonite Fist. Now this one is like really controversial because like a lot of the Western players don't like it, but the Japanese like love it. And to be honest, I'm gonna side with the Japanese on this one because the card is actually really good because you basically kind of like you do what Dragon is like wanting to do, which you take the game into a simplified game state where essentially, because Dragon has bigger creatures than any other deck in the game, they're not actually going to be like ahead or like advantaged. So the reason why the Fist is good is because like so for 2 cards, the card you discard plus the Fist itself, you can usually clear 2 2/2s on the Shadows board. So you should choose zombies or say like a Unico or say like a Lyriel or say like a Soul Squasher. And that's nice because like for 2 cards you remove 4 power on the board and you do it without using an Evo, and you do it for a very, very cheap amount of mana. For the non-ramp Dragon strategies, there's specifically Aggro Dragon, which I actually haven't seen it almost at all this expansion. There's also the option of trying to like race with all these like can't be attacked minions. But keeping on with the list, the next card is Griffin Knight. Now Griffin Knight is a card that, again, because it has a pesky word of discard attached to it, the Western player base doesn't really like it that much. However, Griffin Knight is actually very, very good, and for a while saw a lot of play back in like ROB, because the Griffin Knight is nice because like, and again, it brings you to a simplified game state because for 3 mana, 2 cards. So for 3 mana and 2 cards, you kill their 2-drop. Well, sorry, if you're on the play, you kill their 2-drop, and then you threaten to clear off whatever 3-drop they play, unless the 3-drop it has exactly the 2/3 stat line, or is the Bone Chimera or the Attendant or the Attendant Knight, which is actually very, very good. Additionally, because he's a 2/3, he'll most likely live the trade, and he can try to threaten another trade, which is nice. There's also the option of playing both Dragon Warrior in conjunction with Goblin Breaker Tina, which is a tech card that I meant to talk about just because like it gives swing card evos to classes that don't like necessarily have them, which is nice. However, I don't like playing Dragon Warrior at the moment just because like I really like playing Dragon Summoner. So The next card is Deathmist Dragon. So I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this, but Deathmist Dragon is actually a card that the Japanese were playing during Tempest of the Gods, and it's actually really nice because like it. Alright, so it's really nice, but this is like a tech that really excels versus like the Catacomb style decks that use a lot of like skeletons. And the way it works is that essentially it can't be attacked, so your opponent has to use a removal spell on it, and at the start of each turn it deals 1 damage to everything. Now that 1 damage is nice because it automatically destroys skeletons if it stays in play. So your opponent while they get the shadows with it, they won't actually get to like attack with any of their skeletons until they can clear the Deathmist Dragon. And if you can play around Soul Squasher as well as Cerberus, and you can like properly like guess which one your opponent has, usually it's gonna be an issue for your opponent to get rid of, and it also augments the rest of your AoE. Another card that I actually like, but I still have like yet to actually play this card, would be the Elder Tortoise. The reason why this is good is because like it gives you a 4/6 rush guy later in the later stages of the game, and that's kind of nice. The only reason why I haven't really played around with it that much is because like it's just really difficult to just play like a 4-mana 2/4 on like turn 4. And especially when you're on the play, though, like that just like feels super bad for me. And so I haven't really been able to like find space for it. But if I do like playing around with the card, most likely next set. Another card, if you're going budget, is you can use Cunning Wyvern. Cunning Wyvern is kind of good, but it's kind of slow at the same time. So bear that in mind. So it's a 5-mana 4/5. When it dies, you get to add a Blazing Breath to your hand. So adding the Blazing Breath to your hand is nice because, like, you know, having extra spot removal spells versus a deck that plays that just has to win on the board is actually really nice. But keep in mind though that obviously like it's very slow. Again, it still needs to die. I mean, obviously it's gonna die because your opponent's gonna kill it, but it's not quite as like efficient as say stuff like the other card, Wrath Drake. Wrath Drake is nice because that Wrath Drake automatically blows up skeletons with his base fanfare. He also with his enhanced ability, he can trade one for one with the entirety of an Ektar board and live, and that's nice. He also perfectly clears off Death's Breath zombies, both the unenhanced and the enhanced ones, and that's nice because like he does it in a way where he's a 4/4 himself, so your opponent is most likely not just gonna like zombie party you to revenge kill and then like set up another threatening board. Like they have to like deviate from their plans for a second in order to deal with it, and that's nice. Then there's Conflag. Conflag is nice because, like, again, one trend that I've noticed is that people really don't play around AoE that much, and so if you're playing versus like the bad shadow players that are just like, they're just like, oh well, I've seen all 3 copies of his Breath this time, and he doesn't have any more AoE left. That's not Bahamut. They just like blow them back with like Conflags and whatnot. It is worth noting that because Conflag is 7 mana, there's very strong chance that when you play it, that you're not gonna be able to play anything else in the same turn. So keep that in mind whenever you're like trying to like play with the card. I guess Shenlong is actually another attack. Now for Shenlong, his usage is actually different. Whereas like the other cards that I've shown you have been used to contest the board, Shenlong will actually be used in order to like dig deeper into your deck, in order to make sure that you like never run out of cards. Now that's important for versus Shadow, because like Shadow is almost assuredly almost never going to give you free fervors. Like the most free fervor that they'll get is usually the fervor on 5, but then after that, like they almost never give you good fervor targets. So Shenlong is good just because like you can, if you have like AoE, you can just like tempo them out, and then just like draw 2 cards, and it's just like a 5/6. So basically, you can just like think of him as a worse Phantom Cat, basically. Another card that I like, but it's like not good, mostly just because it needs an Evo, and also because like there's no actual deck for it yet, is actually Neptune. Now Neptune is actually kind of nice because like usually as Dragon, you usually struggle to clear like multiple things at the same time. But like with Neptune, something you can do is you can get like Neptune Evo plus like Blazing Breath to clear off like 3 dudes at the same time. That's kind of nice. It also lets you get a. It also lets you get a 5/5 and a 4/4, or a 5x and a 4x, and that's nice. So it'll usually end up being like a 5/3 and a 4/2. So that's not bad. And then like the last 2 texts are the obvious Polyphonic Roar, because like I'm pretty sure that almost always assuredly mention Poly whenever I like talk about these things. But Poly is nice versus Shadow just because like versus Poly versus Shadow, what you want to try to do is whereas say stuff like say Haven, where you play Poly and you just become the aggressor. No, versus Shadow, what you'll do is you'll play the Poly, like, but you want to be able to play the Poly when you're just holding up like infinite like AoE wrath effects. So you just like continuously just like clear their board, make whatever trades with the dragon if you need to, and then like if you don't need to make trades, just like smash him in the face with the giant dragon, and then you're just like, oh cool, I win. Oops. And then the last card is Fafnir. Now, I'm pretty sure like if I haven't actually gotten any like ridiculous like, oh my god, like is this dude serious comments that I'm almost sure they're gonna get one for this. So Fafnir is actually really good for versus Shadow because like it's big enough that like that threatens to do several things. So first off, as an 8 attack unit, it plus Genesis Dragon is 15 damage. That's a lot of fucking damage. Additionally, because it has 10 HP, your opponent if they try to kill it with Ektar, it's going to require 3 zombies, or is going to require an Evo and 2 zombies. That's quite the big commitment. Lastly, and this part's important. Alright, so he does the 2 damage. 2 damage is usually enough to clear a shadow board for the most part. The only shadow creatures that you can't actually clear for 2 damage are Liches, which aren't actually that common. Ektar, who's 6 HP, which is like, it's unfortunate, but if you have an Evo, you can still clear it. And usually you won't mind taking 5 damage from like a single target versus like if you have to say take damage from like multiple targets. And then lastly, Enhanced Death Breath. But versus Enhanced Death Breath, you're gonna have to Bahamut it anyway. But additionally, because it's so difficult to clear, you can kind of like divert resources that would be used to clear your Bahamut, and that's actually kind of huge. If you haven't actually watched it, go ahead and watch my like I think the video is called Fafkun PogChamp. It's actually like the first ever like YouTube video I made starring Fafnir. But yeah, these are all texts that I think you could be using at the moment versus like Shadow. It is still like a very difficult matchup to play. But I do think that like if you bring the appropriate like tech for the situation, you actually like draw the tech and you play well, they can still do kind of well for the Shadow. But yeah, that's all for me from today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will obviously try to like update this when I see like more tech, and obviously like when you guys like actually like comment on this and whatnot, I'll just go ahead and like edit them in the description. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. And yeah, thank you guys for watching.